town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing
Giờ chưa?
Everybody, and welcome to the Spotify Camp Nou for Barcelona against Elche. Barcelona have dropped only 2 points so far this season. They are hot on the heels of the league leaders Real Madrid. Elche have gained only 1 point so far, and they begin this match bottom of the table. Well, before kick-off, here we have the Fundación Genuine team, who won the treble last season. And here they can proudly display their silverware in front of the Spotify Camp Nou. Whilst behind them, a final watering of the pitch. Kick-off just 5 minutes away now in this Week 6 fixture in La Liga Santander. In La Liga, Barcelona have racked up 4 consecutive wins, scoring 15 goals and conceding only once. But their most recent game was midweek in the Champions League, and they suffered their first defeat of the campaign, a 2-0 loss at Bayern. It was an absorbing game. They created plenty of chances, but they couldn't take them. And now they are returning to a league assignment, the last round of league games before the international break. We have Terry Gibson as co-commentator today. Terry, a very good afternoon. You can see the majestic old stadium Camp Nou, and Xavi has called this game a must-win for Barcelona. Is that a fair comment?
Yes, I think, bearing in mind what happened midweek, it's a setback, but shouldn't be too serious, too critical for Barcelona. They'd some excellent periods in that game, had a lot of attempts on goals, so there was a lot of positives to take back from that game from Munich. But bearing in mind their opponents today, you know, Elche going into the game just at 1 point, 4 defeats from 5, and Barcelona will be looking to get back to winning ways as soon as possible. They've enjoyed having that winning habit again, scoring goals, and you can sense that around the whole club now. I mean, there's pretty much a full house again today. I'm pretty sure this fixture last year would have been a lot less people showing enthusiasm to watch this match. So I think that shows you where Barcelona are trying to head to now.
A feel-good factor around the stadium, some growing optimism despite the defeat midweek, but there was some pride in that performance away at Bayern Munich. Xavi does rotate today. Gavi has signed a new contract with the club until 2026, but he begins today among the substitutes as Xavi makes 5 changes from the 11 that began in Germany, and Francisco makes 7 changes to his 11 from last week. Elche on a bad run of form. They were 4 goals down at half-time last week, so defensive improvements are needed urgently. Barcelona's famous hymn ringing out around the Spotify Camp Nou. A 4:15 kickoff local time, and the fans have gathered in anticipation. Robert Lewandowski does start today, La Liga's top goal scorer. He has 6 in the league already, 3 in Europe, 9 goals since joining from Bayern Munich. So 5 changes made by Xavi. He does give midfielder Franck Kessié his first start in La Liga. This is the 11. Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal. It is a very youthful defence. Balde, Eric Araujo and Jules Koundé in the midfield. Teenager Pedri continues. Frenkie de Jong plays with Franck Kessié, and Lewandowski is in attack with Ousmane Dembélé and Memphis Depay, who scored a late winner against Elche away from home last season. The referee is Alejandro Muñiz Ruiz. This is his 2nd season in Primera División, and this is the first time he has refereed a Barcelona match. The video assistant referee is José Luis González. So only 4 Elche players retain their place in the side. It is a spine of Badia, Bigas, Gumbau and Lucas Boyer. 7 changes in all. Badia in goal, Palacios, Verdú, Bigas and Clerc in defence. John Donald starts today. Teti Morente, Guti, Gumbau and Fidel in the midfield, with Lucas Boyer in attack. So Gonzalo Verdú makes his first appearance from the season. He wears the armband. And now it is the coin toss with Marc-Andre ter Stegen, captain today for Football Club Barcelona. Busquets on the bench, Gavi on the bench, Rafinha on the bench. Rotations from Xavi. A shake of the pack from Francisco as Elche go looking for their first win of the season and their first ever win at this stadium. 2nd from top against 2nd from bottom. That's where these teams were at the start of the weekend. After Cadiz won last night, Elche are now bottom of the pile. Barcelona know that they can climb into first position with a win today. Barca have already scored 15 goals this season. Elche have already conceded 13. There is no doubt that Xavi's side are expected to win today, but football is rarely straightforward. Twice last season, Barcelona needed a late goal to overcome Elche. The stage is set, the players are ready, and it will be La Liga's top goal scorer, Robert Lewandowski, who gets this game underway at the Spotify Camp Nou. Football Club Barcelona against Elche. Terry Gibson on co-commentary, and the pitchside reporter today, Carlos Ponte. Carlos, a very good afternoon to you.
Hello Tim, Terry, hello to everyone. It's a cloudy afternoon at Camp Nou, not rain to be expected, a comfortable temperature of around 24 degrees. I'm going to say perfect to play football. About the attendance, Tim, a very good attendance once again, as the other two La Liga games against Rayo Vallecano and Valladolid. I'm bad at calculating people, but I'm going to say more than 3/4 of the stadium is full.
The only points dropped were in that opening league fixture, Terry, at home to Rayo, when Barcelona couldn't find the breakthrough and drew 0-0. Since then, they have been finding the goal with more clarity in La Liga.
Yeah, and Rayo have had a good record against Barcelona in the last season, and this season now, of course, following that 0-0 draw. But they had a plan, and you're looking at the formation of Elche are starting with, and it looks very similar, doesn't it? Back five, midfield four, Lucas Boye alone, isolated up front. The plan from Francisco and Elche, clearly, it should be to try and frustrate Barcelona, to stay in their game to the very least until half-time. Barcelona are clearly going to dominate possession. Will they show that quality and sharpness that we've seen in recent weeks from them in La Liga? Very probably, I would say.
Well, Francisco did admit that Elche will not press high, they will not dominate, but he did say that his players have to win their duels. They have been struggling so far this season. Elche have lost 3-0 at Betis, lost 4-0 at Villarreal, and it was a 4-1 home defeat last week against Athletic Club. They were 4-0 down at half-time. So as you say, Terry, looks like a back five. John Donald into the defence. Gonzalo Verdu has missed the start of the season with injury, but he starts today. And Francisco looking for defensive improvements against a side who have been scoring freely. 15 goals in La Liga so far for Barcelona. So some big questions for Francisco Rodriguez to answer today, a manager who took over in November last year with Elche hovering around the relegation zone, did very well to lead the team to safety. In the end, Elche finished 13th, 4 points above the drop zone, but the current campaign has not begun well. 1 point from 15 available. Here is Edgar Badia, one of the Catalans in the Elche side today. Badia playing in his home city. Badia was unfortunate to be on the losing side against Barcelona twice last season. Some very good performances from him. It was a 3-2 win here for Barcelona. Nico with a late winner. Gavi scored in that game his first La Liga goal and then set up the winner. And the game at the Martínez Valero was won by Barcelona, but they came from behind in order to do so. And it was Memphis Depay who struck the winning goal from the penalty spot. Memphis now wins the free kick from Elibelton Palacios. Barcelona into their stride in terms of possession, as expected. Opening minutes at Camp Nou. Ousmane Dembélé with the jink and the cross, which is flicked away and will be kept in by Balde. It is a fifth start in La Liga for Alejandro Balde. He's only missed one league game, and that was the draw with Rayo. Ousmane Dembélé shapes to shoot, closed down by Verdu. Here is Kessié. And Lucas Boye down holding his face, and the first card of the game, Carlos.
Yeah, so team, I didn't get to see who received the yellow card, but immediately the medical assistance was called for the referee. The Elche player will be attended.
And it was Franck Kessié with this clash, the elbow catching Boyer in the face, and Terry, you can understand why Boyer was in pain.
Yeah, no, clearly you can see I don't necessarily think it's an elbow thrown by Franck Kessié. I think it's the attitude of a player that wants minutes in the team, wants to be starting games and wants to show the manager how good he is and that he's competing for a spot in the strongest starting lineup. So determined, aggressive play, but clearly a foul, clearly a yellow card. And Lucas Boyer will be feeling the pain from that challenge.
Lucas Boyer, yes, Carlos.
Yes, clearly Francisco talking to the assistant referee, saying that it must be watched by the video assistant referee. Continuously talking to the fourth now to the assistant referee, telling him that that play needed to be checked by the video assistant referee.
Well, it remains just a yellow for now. Lucas Boyer being patched up, a player who was missing for the start of the season with injury, a player, Terry, who's very important for Elche. 7 goals last season, did manage to score away at Real Madrid, and if they are to recover some form, you do feel that Boyer's goal-scoring instincts will be important.
Yes, and they'll be clearly hoping this isn't too bad, but it's a hell of a hefty challenge. You can see the damage that it's caused. I think Elche and Francisco and Lucas Boyer have got a cause to at least ask the referee if the VAR were looking at and considering whether it was worthy of any more punishment than just the yellow card.
Here is Tete Morente, who kept it alive, and Palacios with the cutback. It bounced off Fidel, and Barcelona look to carry the ball away now. Jules Koundé playing at right back, a very youthful back line for Football Club Barcelona, as Pedri lifts one over the top towards Memphis. Verdú couldn't quite control the ball, and Elche couldn't quite keep it. Well, the age of Barcelona's defence, they have Balde at left back, who is 18, Eric, who is 21, and then both Araujo and Koundé, 23. So the likes of Piqué and Alba on the bench, so too Marcos Alonso and Christensen, both of whom started in the Champions League midweek. And today Busquets rests. And there is danger for Verdú, who just about managed to complete the pass to Gumbau.
Boyer is back into the pitch, 11 players again for Elche.
Making the run through the centre, Araujo slipping it for Pedri, swiftly wide to Dembélé, 3 in the centre, and Ousmane Dembélé has gone for power there.
Yep, takes the wrong club there, doesn't he, completely?
Absolutely.
Went for the driver. But fantastic movement from Lewandowski. You can see him making that run in behind, the defenders run with him, and then it opened up a space where Elche are trying to keep the defensive line really close to that midfield line. The fact Lewandowski makes that run in behind, they went with him, it opened up the gap, and Pedri had the intelligence and football knowledge to just pop into that gap to get the ball.
Raúl Guti's pass to Carlos Clerc, former Espanyol fullback, who has gone for the long diagonal just over Araujo, and gathered up by Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who has kept 3 consecutive clean sheets in La Liga. Now Pedri, a couple of very good chances against Bayern midweek, a very good performance from the young midfielder, hit the post in the second half. Dembélé, clearance by Bigas, and the push by Araujo. No foul according to the referee, so Barcelona can continue. Frenkie de Jong closed down by Boyer. Now inviting Balde forward, and the run was slightly mistimed by the youngster. Offside.
Yeah, I think it was clear there. He'd just gone a split second too early. looking at the player, calling for the ball, as opposed to looking across that defensive line to make sure that he keeps himself in an onside position.
Xavi didn't like that long ball from Araujo to Balde, and he's clearly talking to one centre back.
I don't think Xavi would like the fact that Balde wasn't looking across the line either, because it was on. The long ball was on. And Balde should have been looking across to and make sure he keeps himself in the onside position.
Boyer took it down well. Eric made the challenge. Now Pedri. His pass flying just beyond Dembele. Well, Balde is one of 14 Barcelona players who have received an international call-up. He has been called up to the Spain under-21 squad for their upcoming friendlies against Romania and Norway. And there are 6 Barcelona players called up into the Spanish senior squad by Luis Enrique. They are Eric, Garcia, Alba, Busquets, Gavi, Pedri and Ferran. And Terry, like every international manager, there seems to be so much scrutiny and speculation and questions about absentees every time a squad is announced.
Exactly, and Luis Enrique is such a big pool of players to choose from. He's never going to be able to please everybody, but there are some obvious players that people will pay attention to who are not in the squad.
Palacios with the challenge on Memphis, who has it back now. Will Eli Belton. A lifted pass asking a little too much of Tete Morente. Tete Morente, who scored one and made one here last season in the 3-2 defeat. Elche came from 2 goals down, were level at 2-2 until Nico's late winner for Barcelona. A game played in mid-December. Well, as ever, Luis Enrique, when discussing those absentees, was wonderfully eloquent and convincing. Spoke with charisma. But the debates continue, they always will. Memphis finding Lewandowski, whose radar this time wasn't quite tuned in with those around him.
They're certainly getting the numbers round Lewandowski. Memphis Depay is willing to play in that more of an inside forward position to allow the space for Balde, which I presume is what Lewandowski was assuming would be the case there, that Balde was making that run into that attacking left wing position from the full-back role. Kessié is getting himself into the penalty box. They're winning the ball back quickly. They're doing all the right things to break down Elche, but Elche at the moment are standing firm.
And now Tete Morente trying to win it from Balde. Support from Boyer, who shows good skill in a tight space there. Now some strength and a foul on Balde. Barcelona's free kick. And Balde was looking to take it quickly. Boyer alert to that and preventing Xavi's side from doing so. Kessié made the run to stretch the game, and now a space for Robert Lewandowski, who's been brought down by Verdu, and it is a straight red card. No attempt to play the ball. Lewandowski was through on goal, and Terry, the referee, had no doubt.
Well, I think the Elche players are complaining that they believe a teammate was going to be able to get across and cover that run from Lewandowski, but here is just a degree of panic from Gonzalo Verdu. Great movement again from Lewandowski. Lovely pass from Frenkie de Jong. 2 players at the top of their game, meeting up there and just working off each other. And there's no doubt it's a foul, and it's clear professional foul from Gonzalo Verdu. It's almost a rugby tackle. We need to see the various angles to see if a defensive teammate was close enough to maybe get to Lewandowski. Actually, on the first look I saw, don't think there was. We're talking Lewandowski getting away from goal, getting away from the defender, bearing down on goal, down the centre of the pitch. And if this decision stands, I believe it will, then it's going to make life incredibly difficult for Elche, as if it wasn't already.
And we've seen numerous defensive errors already this season from Elche. Those away at Betis really spring to mind. Those last weekend against Athletic as well. And early on, in one of the toughest games of the season, they have shot themselves in the foot here. Gonzalo Verdú, first appearance of the season, sent off inside the opening 15 minutes, and Carlos, a real pickle now for Francisco.
Indeed, Francisco got really mad remembering that possible red card from Kessié against Boyer. He remembered the fourth referee. This one is a red card and that one wasn't. But Gonzalo Verdú abandoning the pitch, clearly sad. And Xavi using the time to talk with Balde and Eric Garcia.
And in the meantime, Barcelona line up the set piece. It is a very long way from goal. 4 in the wall. Memphis delicate over the top, just ahead of Lewandowski. The idea, Terry, was nice.
Yes, it was. You considered, briefly mentioned the possibility of trying that. And Memphis is always courageous in trying something different. That was very difficult, though. Once it hits the ground, it's going to spin towards any goalkeeper that's going to be sharp and aware that that might have happened from Barcelona. Well, the back five has become a back four already, Tim, for obvious reasons.
Well, it didn't last long, did it? The numbers in the back, so I guess something like a 4-4-1 now for the visitors, who can try and counter now with Raúl Guti up against Frenkie de Jong and crowded out in numbers. Memphis Depay back defensively, and now Pedri looking up and sliding it to the feet of Dembélé. He turns, crosses the halfway line, carries the ball forward, has support but may not need it, and then Dembélé just about finding the pass towards Lewandowski, and Elche can clear.
My goodness, the change of pace. He was already running at some speed and then changed pace, went up another gear and just left the defenders trailing behind him.
A lovely flick from Memphis, which the crowd here enjoyed. And now Fidel taking the ball from Lewandowski, no less, holding off the challenge of Eric, and eventually, I think, Carlos, he's won a free kick for Elche, and he's also in pain.
Yes, we see Fidel on the ground of Camp Nou, the referee talking to Pedri, and clearly we see that line of 4 that Terry was mentioning, O'Donnell and Biga, the center-back couple at this moment. No Elche player warming up. In case of anything happening, I will be telling you, Tim.
And we can see that Fidel has taken the captain's armband after that red card for Verdú. Fidel, who scored at home to Barcelona last season, a goal that gave Francisco's team the lead at the Martínez Valero. A reminder that Elche have never won away at Barcelona.
Fidel was the second recipient there of a forearm smash from Franck Kessié.
Well, it will be further reason for discontent for Francisco. Here is Kessié, first start in La Liga today, has started one Champions League match and opened the scoring in that game against Victoria Plzen. Summer signing from AC Milan, a midfielder who was reasonably prolific in Italy. Well, here is a flick from Lewandowski. Memphis is trying to take on the goalkeeper, and Edgar Badea used his feet well.
Excellent goalkeeping, wasn't it? Unorthodox, to say the least. Great link-up play with Lewandowski and Memphis. And how many times do you see a goalkeeper panic and create a foul?
Lewandowski brought it down well, managed to fire off the shot and may have won a corner. Indeed he has.
Last-ditch defending, they're digging in well, they're showing a good spirit, Elche, which wasn't the case last week. It's certainly going to be a long afternoon for Francisco and his team to get anything out of this game.
Corner goes short to Dembélé, who is into the box and has pulled it narrowly wide.
It's disappointing from him, isn't it? All the good work. Elche is slow to react here. Memphis and Dembélé spot the space, Dembele easily beats the defender, drops inside, and it should be a problem for him to, at the very least, to hit the target, or at least have the attempt blocked on its way to goal. But he drags his shot towards that near post into the side netting.
And Carlos, a few whistles there from the spectators.
Yes, the goalkeeper Edgar Badia was taking very long to take that goal kick, and the Barca crowd booing the Elche's goalkeeper.
He actually didn't take that long, did he? But it's the crowd, the home crowd's job to make sure that he doesn't take long, or at least bring it to the referee's attention. There is going to be every possibility that Elche are going to try and do everything they can to run the clock down, even at this early stage of the game.
Araujo was smart there. It just looked for a moment as if Barcelona could be in some trouble after the backward pass. They have it now with De Jong, who tries to split open the defence. Wasn't too far away from achieving that. Boyer, the target. Here is Fidel, brought it down well. Boyer did brilliantly. Elche have it still. Here is Tete Morente with options left and right. He lifts it for Fidel. There are three in the centre, more arriving. Fidel's cross is too high for Palacios. Well, after 22 minutes last week, Elche found themselves 3-0 down at home to Athletic. They are level here at Barcelona, but they have had a player sent off, and they have to defend now. And it was a very good sliding challenge from Gumbau, a former Barcelona midfielder. Gerard Gumbau played 9 times for the Barca first team. Lewandowski turning. Memphis offering the width. Kessié. And Frankie de Jong is going for goal. And it is dealt with by Badia.
It had to be something special to beat the Elche goalkeeper from that range and that angle. The goalkeeper able to see it all the way through, comfortable save. But it's an interesting defensive line from Elche. It's reasonably high, but they're close to the midfield, so the space is there for Barcelona to make those darting runs in behind. It's not as if the Elche defence are dropping deep, the midfield are dropping deep. They're trying to be compact, and Lewandowski just keeps finding those little pockets of space between the back four and the midfield four.
Loose from Dembele, but he wins it straight back. Now De Jong. Wide to Alejandro Balde. Pedri. Memphis turns. Patient. Memphis! Plenty of power there, and forced a good save from Badia.
Certainly showing the right attitudes as in Memphis, trying to get himself into the strongest Barcelona starting lineup. There's an inquiry here after the attempt from Memphis as to whether Memphis could have laid that across the 6-yard box for a tap-in for Lewandowski.
Dembele's corner cleared by Morente. Frankie de Jong over the top, looking for his international teammate Memphis Depay, not putting too much on the pass. And Carlos, the expression there on the face of Xavi Hernandez really painted a picture.
Yes, today he's been less active than usual. Not much talking to his players, mostly to Frank Kessié. He has told him to calm down a little bit in two occasions. Who's been very active at the touchline. Normally he's very calm, but Francisco has been pretty much since the beginning of the match at the touchline, giving instructions, especially to the back line. And right now, precisely, he's talking to Pedro Vigas and telling him where to stand. As Terry said, leaving some meters behind.
Wide to Balde. Barcelona looking for the gaps here. Pedri finding Dembele, who swings it in. So teasing and so close for Robert Lewandowski, who gives the thumbs up there. He enjoyed that service.
He loves that service, whether it's Rafinha playing on the right, as soon as him or Dembele cut back on the left, there's an understanding already between all those players. That whipped-in cross.
De Jong can shoot here. De Jong's gone for placement and forced a good stop from Badia. The flag is raised.
They're attempting to pile on the pressure, aren't they? Barcelona, we can see there. Elche have been guilty on a couple of occasions of switching off, allowing Barcelona to take quick, short corners. One time it resulted in De Jong forcing Edgar Badia into a fine save. I thought Lewandowski got the touch and it was blocked by John Donald, but actually excellent defending from the youngster. Throw himself in front of Lewandowski, who probably assumed he was going to be tucking it away for his 7th La Liga goal of the season.
21 years of age, John Donald. That was a super clearance from a player who was sent off in week 1 at Betis. And what a big afternoon he has on his hands today, away at Barcelona. And Verdu sent off early on. Barcelona coming forward again. Tete Morente with the block.
They've certainly had a tough start to the season, haven't they, Elche? Not just results-wise, but the fixture list. I mean, here they are playing Barcelona today away from home. They've already played Villarreal away and Betis away. So it's not been an easy start.
Lewandowski was unselfish. Palacios made the clearance. And now Balde. First time pass from Memphis was a good one. Pedri wide. Kessié is through the centre. So too is Jules Koundé. Firm clearance from Edgar Badia and a possible break, although Araujo was aware of the danger and in swiftly to play the pass to Dembele. Barcelona on the attack. Here is Kessié, back to Lewandowski. And it is John Donald who's down. And plenty of complaints here, Carlos.
John Donald is down with a yellow card from the referee. I believe it's Pedro Vigas who received the yellow card. The Elche players asking for a little bit more to the referee.
Well, we're just seeing the replays there, and Terry, it was another one involving Kessié's elbow.
It's the third, and we have to say it as it is, third clumsy challenge by the Barcelona midfield player. On all 3 occasions, we cannot accuse the Elche players of making the most of contact, trying to draw the referee's attention to it. On all 3 occasions, they've genuinely been impacted and hurt. Accidental, he's putting his arm out to protect the ball. But it is the 3rd time he has caught an opponent directly in the face with his forearm.
Well, if Francisco felt aggrieved after the first one, how's he feeling now? There've been 2 further similar incidents. It looks as if no further punishment for Kessié. Certainly punishment in the physical form for John Donald. And what a tumultuous start to this game it has been, Terry, for Elche. The red card, Lucas Boyer patched up, and now John Donald receiving treatment. There's confirmation of the Pedro Vigas yellow card that Carlos mentioned, and a chance for some fluids now.
I can tell you were mentioning Francisco. He just can't believe it. He was just standing at the touchline, looking at the sideline, looking at the fourth referee, just asking, and he can't believe that Kessie didn't receive a card.
I think if Kessie does make it to half-time without picking up the second yellow, I wouldn't be surprised to see that a change made at the break by Xavi.
Well, he has a reasonable amount of experience in Busquets on the bench and a reasonable amount of promise in Gavi. So still goalless at the Spotify Camp Nou. Barcelona against Elche. Barcelona looking to go top of the table today. Tomorrow the league leaders Real Madrid play in the Madrid derby away at Atletico. And Xavi and his players know that with a win today, Barcelona can move into first position. Elche are bottom of the table after the victory for Cadiz last night, looking for their first win of the season. They are down to 10 early on.
Yeah, Barcelona and Eric Garcia have to avoid those type of challenges because it puts a stop to the game. They want as much playing time as possible. They're up until now, up until that challenge, they've done that really well. They've been able to win the ball back cleanly, not give away too many free kicks, and a set piece does give any team an opportunity to apply some pressure.
In from Gumbau, and it is beyond Lucas Boye and Pedro Bigas. So here is Kessie. Wide by De Jong. Back to him from Dembele. Movement from Kessie. Eric Garcia forward from defence. Balde delivers to the back post. Brought down by Dembele towards Jules Koundé. And I'm not too sure, Terry, what the intention was there. The ball's still in play, and Balde won't give it up. Some tenacious play. Someone seems to have lost a shin pad.
Yeah, I pretty much guess it was an attempted shot from Koundé. Maybe Barcelona have to refrain from shooting from long range, shooting from difficult angles. But that's how, you know, you can be impatient, you can be frustrated that they haven't yet really been able to find the clear route through to goal. So 10 out of 10 in these circumstances for a team like Elche, who are struggling. They're a man down, playing with very little confidence, but they're playing with a lot of pride, a lot of organisation, and making it really difficult for Barcelona.
Dembele looking for Kessie, and out came Badia effectively. Elche picked up just 15 points away from home last season. They've begun the current campaign with 2 heavy defeats on the road. 3-0 at Betis, 4-0 at Villarreal. They're standing firm so far against Barcelona, but the Catalans coming forward with Ousmane Dembele, who has plenty of options. He picks out Pedri. Pedri to Balde! Oh, that is super football! Balde the provider. And in the centre, it is no surprise to see La Liga's top scorer, Robert Lewandowski, with the opening goal.
Well, it's sensational attacking play. They exactly what they need to do. They move the ball swiftly. The movement off the ball is outstanding. Everything about that attack was so sharp. And of course, he's going to be there for what is a tap-in, but he's in the right place at the right time, and he always is. When Dembele does well, he cuts inside to Pedri. Pedri knows, he's aware, he's hoping that Balde is on the move. Might be disallowed, might be offside. I think they're looking at there, maybe Lewandowski is just ahead of the ball. But Balde does exactly the right thing. He fires it across the face of goal, across that 6-yard box. Lewandowski applies the finishing touch, but on that angle, looking at that replay there, I do think there is a possibility that Lewandowski was just slightly ahead of the ball. There may well be a reprieve for Elche.
Now the referee in communication now. And Carlos, the goal does stand.
The goal does stand. There was a moment everybody was a little anxious, but certainly the people celebrated after that open of the deadlock. Xavi celebrated with his coaching staff. They were waiting until the very end, but 1-0, and we see Xavi Hernandez more calm now at the touchline.
So Robert Lewandowski is into double figures already. We're in mid-September. His 10th goal for Football Club Barcelona. Dembélé cannot squeeze the cross beyond Carlos Clerc. Does win the throw-in now. So 10 minutes until half-time. Barcelona haven't created too much, but a really stylish opening goal there, and a super moment for Balde, 18 years of age, celebrating his Spain under-21 call-up with a fine assist, Terry.
He was an all-round good player. Like the way that Barcelona changed the point of attack and how quick they changed it from right to left, then back across the middle, and Lewandowski with it.
Jules Koundé, unselfish, and Pedro Bigas, very well placed.
Feeling the pressure now, aren't they, Elche? 30 minutes or so, you can see there, as the ball is played. Lewandowski just behind the ball. Very, very close. Unfortunate on Elche, but scintillating football from Barcelona, though, from right to left, back across the middle. And of course, Lewandowski is always going to be there.
And the weight of pass from Pedri, just delightful.
Oh, it was, because it took it away from the defender. If it had been lighter, the defender would have intercepted it, but it was right into the path of Balde.
Here is Memphis, who's shown too much of it there to Elibelton Palacios, who squeezes one up the line. Eric reads it. Balde goes beyond his man, tried to find Memphis. Eric with the interception and the awareness to try and retrieve the ball. Tete Morente has won it. He is looking for Boye, and there is strength there from Ronald Araujo. And Terry, that is a very physical battle, Boye with Araujo.
It is, and one that both players will relish. I think that the odds are slightly in favour of the Barcelona player now, because his team do have the lead. They do have an extra player, and he's up against the centre forward in Lucas Boye, who's literally miles away from the rest of his team. And that's to be expected in these circumstances. That's how they set out their tactics. And then they've lost the player in Gonzalo Verdi, who received the red card. So somehow Elche have got to not concede any more goals and somehow try and apply some pressure to Araujo and Eric Garcia and get near Andre ter Stegen with 10 men, and very little belief, I have to say now, probably, that they can get back into the game. So it's going to be a tough afternoon for Elche, if it wasn't going to be anyway.
Dembélé chasing and keeping it in. He did superbly. Awareness now to roll it back for Koundé. Barcelona looking for goal number 2, but Frenkie de Jong's giving it away, and Jules Koundé commits the foul. Now, Robert Lewandowski's goal-scoring form continues. He didn't score at home to Rayo in what was his competitive debut for Barcelona. He also didn't score away at Bayern, but in every other game this season he has scored. He scored 2 against Real Sociedad, 2 against Valladolid. He scored against Sevilla, Cádiz and now Elche, as well as the hat-trick against Victoria Plzen in the Champions League. So 10 goals in 8 appearances since joining Football Club Barcelona. And it is now a goal in each of his last 5 league appearances.
And there's a long lot of playing time left in this game for him to add to that number as well. He's not bad, is he?
Not bad at all. 34 years of age, and he's taken no time at all to show his quality in a new league.
And it's not just about the goals, Tim, is it? It's his all-round play, his leadership skills, his hold-up play, his movement off the ball. He's on a different level to every majority of centre forwards around world football.
Barcelona building patiently. There is the link-up play from Lewandowski. It just ran away from Kessié. Boyer isolated and dispossessed.
Certainly got two of the best centre forwards in world football, haven't we, with Benzema and Lewandowski. And it's a real privilege to see Lewandowski, even at the age of 34, come and ply his trade in La Liga. We get to see him on a regular basis now, and he's been astonishing.
Here he is, dropping deep, simple pass for Koundé, and now manoeuvring towards the centre, drifting across the Elche defence, instructing the movement of Memphis, and Memphis has it now, and Memphis turns! Oh yes! Barcelona double their lead. It is an explosive finish from Memphis Depay. Elche down to 10 and down by 2 goals now. It is a long road back for them. Barcelona hit their groove.
But you saw Lewandowski orchestrating that attack. He's there, he drops deep, then he's pointing to teammates where to go, where to pass the ball. And Memphis Depay absolutely loves this situation. Well, I committed myself on the first goal and said I thought Lewandowski was offside. Again, this one is very close, but he loves pinning, what I call pinning, the defender. So he backs in against him, he holds him off. He can feel which side the defender is trying to steal the ball away, and then he'll roll the other way. And then it's great skill, rolled with the sole of the boot, and an emphatic finish. It's a brilliant piece of individual skill. Brilliant finish, great skill to turn. The referee has said it's very close.
Well, Carlos, the first one was a tight call, and we await now confirmation on this second goal.
We're waiting for confirmation, but we heard even an ovation for Memphis coming from the crowd. Memphis Depay, we've seen him attached to the left side. It was a question that we had. Usually Dembélé switches sides with Rafinha, but this afternoon we've seen Memphis down the left playing a very good football match. I'm gonna have to say, at least from down here, and Dembélé constantly down the right side of Barca.
The feet looked level there, didn't they? The two players, John Donald and Memphis Depay.
Yes, and you'd have to say, Terry, that both Memphis and Lewandowski have timed their movement impeccably. Can Barcelona grab a third before the break? Dembélé into the box, drifting outside, scooping the pass forward. Lewandowski! Poked home by Pedri. Barcelona do have another. It is not the assist that Lewandowski in truth probably envisaged, but it has worked out perfectly for the Catalans, and from just a yard out, Pedri was able to steer it home, and there is the broad smile and the celebrations as the teenager makes it Barcelona 3, Elche 0.
Well, astonishing. Less than 10 minutes ago, probably about 8 minutes ago, we were trying to work out with all this pressure how Barcelona could break them down. And suddenly by the 43rd minute, again, it's a close call.
Attention, because red card shown to Francisco. Francisco talking to the assistant referee. The assistant referee didn't like what Francisco said, and the referee came to the Elche's manager position and showed him a direct red card just after Pedri scored that goal.
Well, right from 5 minutes in, it's been a game of frustration for Francisco. The early yellow card for Kessié, which he felt should have been red. Subsequently, he saw his defender Gonzalo Verdú sent off. And now the Elche manager, Francisco Rodriguez, sent off as well. Things going from bad to worse for Elche, who are without a win all season. And just 2 goals. Sorry, Carlos, we're just seeing the scoreboard tick down to 2 there.
Yes, we confirm it's 2-0, so a disallowed goal then for Pedri.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of players that in possible offside positions in the build-up to the goal. Initially Lewandowski, and then Pedri was ahead of Lewandowski when the ball fell kindly for him to slam home from close range.
5 minutes of adding time.
Well, Lewandowski will be probably disappointed he didn't apply the finish there, Terry.
Yeah, but do you know what, the special player that he is, the special players that brushed off straight away, completely forgotten about already. Whereas most other players would be thinking, how did I miss that for the next 10 minutes? And the whole of half-time bashing themselves up, thinking, oh, I should have had another goal. Lewandowski's forgotten about it, brushed it off already, and he'd just be waiting to pounce on the next opportunity that comes his way.
And you sense there will be more. So added time at the end of the first half at the Spotify Camp Nou. A minimum of 5 extra minutes. Barcelona in control. Lewandowski and Memphis with the goals. And Terry, I could tell that you as a centre-forward really enjoyed that finish, that pivot by Memphis for his goal. Well, here is Balde. He has 2 assists already. A super afternoon so far for the young fullback, and now Araujo going for something spectacular and not quite finding it.
Yeah, just going back there, Tim, to what you were saying about Memphis, it's a position he loves to get himself in. You can see Pedri, he's probably assuming Lewandowski's going to score, not too fussed about getting back in to an onside position. But he likes to get himself up against the central defenders, and he uses that ability. There are players around that are very particularly good at that, and he is one of the best, because he not only does that initial skill well, but it's the skill to turn and then the finish in that goal, which technically was superb.
And Terry, we saw the confirmation there of Pedri offside. The ball did come off Badia, the Elche goalkeeper. Some Barcelona supporters may be thinking, well, that was a new phase and onside, but obviously the officials have adjudicated that he was already at that point of Lewandowski's contact interfering.
No, I don't think they can have too many calls for complaints. 2 have gone their way, which have been incredibly close. But you're right, he is participating in the play. He was in the offside position when the ball comes back off of Edgar Badia. He's only in that position and gets an advantage because initially he was offside when Lewandowski had the first attempt.
Dembélé with the nutmeg. It reached Araujo. Pedri. An accurate crossfield pass. Lapse in concentration from Dembélé. Fidel took it from him.
I'd like to have mentioned more of the Elche players, but it's been difficult to, isn't it? Because they've barely had the ball. People like Carlos Clerc, who's come into the team today, and Fidel Chavez and Tete Morente, we normally talk about them in an attacking sense, but they're defending deep. They've had minimal participation in the game in terms of possession.
Well, Super skill from Boyer, but Barcelona do win it back through Franck Kessié. Barcelona have won their last 6 matches against Elche by an aggregate of 19-3. Looking for another goal here. Memphis Depay to Dembélé, who was unselfish, and it was Kessié arriving. Well, another well-constructed move from Barcelona.
Yeah, it's so hard to be critical of Elche. They're chasing back in numbers, but the quality that Barcelona show, and you see Araujo was getting applause from the crowd for avoiding landing on the club crest.
De Jong's cross in towards Araujo, a possible break. This is Guti. Morente, first time, Fidel. Elche do have numbers coming forward, but they've given it straight to Jules Koundé. And the referee, Muniz Ruiz, does bring the first half to a close. It has been a troublesome half for Elche. Verdú sent off inside the opening quarter of an hour. They have also had frustrations with some challenges from Franck Kessié, who remains on the pitch. They've had players patched up, and they have been dealt 2 big blows, both served up by Alejandro Balde. One finished by Robert Lewandowski, who has his 7th goal of the league campaign, and the second finished emphatically by Memphis Depay. So Barcelona looking good at half-time. They are leading Elche by 2-0.
Microsoft helps bring new metrics to La Liga. Go deeper into the action to analyze and enjoy more of the game you love with Beyond Stats. It's your game.
TikTok. Đâu quay tròn 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 ủ rũ mệt nhoài. TikTok. Miệng thì ngáp ngáp ngáp, mắt nhắm mắt mờ. TikTok.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Spotify Camp Nou, where Barcelona are presently leading Elche by 2-0. Goals scored by Robert Lewandowski and Memphis Depay. They are also playing against a numerical disadvantage. Elche had Verdu sent off early on, so Xavi's side looking in a strong position to extend their winning sequence in La Liga. It currently stands at 4 consecutive wins, and they know that 3 points today will lift them to the top of the table. Now, Terry Gibson is alongside us today. Terry, some interesting scenes here. Oscar Hernandez, Xavi's assistant and brother, on the right, speaking with the officials. The referee, Muniz Ruiz, clearly in quite a deep conversation here with the Elche players.
Yeah, I think that they'll feel aggrieved that the 2 goals offside. They will claim offside. Close calls, they've gone against them. They'll feel that Frank Kessié has injured 3 of their players with clumsy challenges, all led with his arm. He caught 3 different players with a forearm smash. He was booked on the first one. They'll claim Elche that it was clumsy and careless play from Kessié on a couple of more occasions. Their manager has been red carded as well. So they'll feel hard done by at the moment, not only by this game, but the sequence of results that they've suffered so far. And up against formidable opponents away from home, you cannot afford to go down to 10 men as early as they did in this game. And they're feeling as if all the
suffered an early red card. They did so on the opening weekend away at Betis, eventually losing that game 3-0. And that hasn't been an isolated heavy defeat. 3-0 loss at Betis, 4-0 loss at Villarreal, beaten 4-1 by Athletic last weekend. And in the pre-match press conference, Francisco, who, as you mentioned, Terry, has now been red carded, he was asked, are the team playing for something more than 3 points here today, essentially alluding to whether his own position is coming under threat. Well, I suppose no manager is immune from that kind of talk, that kind of danger. What we can say is that Francisco last season did very well taking over mid-campaign, led the team to 9 wins, 30 points gained from the 23 matches. It was enough to see them survive and actually finish 13th. But certainly any optimism surrounding the club ahead of this campaign seems to be evaporating quite quickly with this disappointing run of results. Here we can just see once again Barcelona's second goal, finished by Memphis. Once he turned John Donald, there was a 26% goal probability, but of course so much of the good work was in the turn.
Oh, fantastic, as I said, getting himself up against the defender, using that ability to recognise which side the defender was going to try and challenge, and then the skill with the underneath of the boot to roll it beyond the defender, and then, you know, an erring finish to strike into the roof of the goal. So no chance for Badia.
Our pitchside reporter today is Carlos Ponte, and Carlos, Xavi has made a change.
Indeed, both teams already over the pitch, waiting for the referee's whistle. Gavi just came in. He replaced Frank Kessié. We repeat, Gavi, after renewing his contract this week, is into the pitch for the second half between Barca and Elche.
Well, it is a change, Terry, that you in many ways predicted. So Gavi, new contract, that's been very big news. In fact, Xavi called it the biggest news of the week for Barcelona. He has signed a new contract until 2026. There is a release clause of €1 billion, and really it is exceptional news for Football Club Barcelona, a player of his calibre and age renewing like that.
Well, it is, because the situation Barcelona have found themselves in recent months, there was a concern that, you know, there was a possibility that they might not be able to do that and achieve that, but I think the willing was always there from the player. And thankfully for Barcelona, they've been able to tie up a player now who is an incredible footballer, an astonishing player. He's still only the age of 18 and plays with such maturity, as well as all the technical ability. And then, do you know what? He's a really gutsy little player as well.
Well, Barcelona wanted to secure him on a long contract, and because he was so young, they had to wait until he had turned 18 in order to do that, and he turned 18 in August. And And as you mentioned, Terry, there was a feeling that his intention was always to sign this deal, and it has now been confirmed, much to the joy of Barcelona's supporters. Barca having to defend here, a counter for Elche. Tete Morente beyond Balde, and then unfortunately for him, he just poked it off the pitch, Carlos.
Yes, team, I was about to tell you that there are 3 Barca players warming up. Bellerín, Ansu Fati, and Rafinha. For Elche, we see Domingo Esquina, Ezequiel Ponce, and Nico warming at the sideline.
And Carlos, we saw the attendance confirmed today. Well, just see how this attack evolves. This is Koundé to Dembélé, 3 in the centre. Dembélé has sent it in, Memphis is there, it comes out to Lewandowski, and Lewandowski is never going to miss that. It is on a plate for him, he tucks it home, and Barcelona do now lead by 3.
But it really is curtains for Elche now. Opening minutes of the second half. It was a fair assumption to make that Lewandowski wasn't finished with the scoring after just scoring the first goal in the 35th minute. I think it's a fair assumption to make that he's still not finished. And again, Barcelona find it easy with Dembélé involved in the thick of the action. It's a dangerous cross across the face of goal. John Donald doesn't do particularly well in terms of his attempt to clear it. Memphis is sharp to the loose ball, and it falls kindly for Lewandowski, who's literally never going to miss from there. Centre of goal, as the ball breaks kindly to him, and he just tucked it away. He actually had to find the space as well, didn't he? It looked a simple finish, it pretty much was, but he could have hit it straight, he could have hit a defender, but he placed it away from the attempts of the 2 defenders that were close to him in their attempt to block it.
Well, this is one of many things that is so special about him. The way he makes the finishing look so simple. There were times where you see him just guiding the ball home from outside the penalty area and making it look as if he's 6, 7, 8 yards from goal, but he's just got this unreal finishing ability. 2 to his name already today, which means he's up to 8 in La Liga in 6 appearances. Add to that the hat-trick he scored here at home in Europe, and I think it's fair to say it's been a pretty bright start to life at Camp Nou for Robert Lewandowski. And Carlos, the attendance...
Camp Nou team?
Yep.
Yes, tell me, sorry.
85,037 in today.
Meaning that's the best attendance of the season so far for a La Liga game here at Camp Nou. We had 82,000 against Rayo, 83 against Valladolid, and now if you tell me 85th, the best La Liga attendance for a Camp Nou game this season.
Well, the vast majority of that 85,000 are very happy right now. Just a few travelling Elche supporters who won't be enjoying it quite so much. Confirmation that Memphis in the centre was onside in the build-up to the 3rd goal.
You describe it perfectly, Tim. It's the people singing, especially right now, the crowd that is behind Edgar Badia, but in general, joy that we can observe in Camp Nou. But at the very top of the stadium, those 150 Elche fans very sad of their team's performance.
Barcelona looking for goal number 4. Pedri for Dembélé. Dispossessed by Guti. Guti lifting one for Palacios. Touched back for Morente. And Guti again takes over. First time ball from Boyer. A rare spell of possession for the visitors. Boyer, delicate for Palacios, and it was read there by Eric Garcia.
Elche preparing a couple of substitutions. Nico and Kina about to come into the pitch.
Here is Gavi. Dembélé to Memphis, and a very good block it was by John Donald. Balde wins it back. There's the flick from Lewandowski, appreciated by the Barcelona supporters. movement from Gavi, who will not give it up there from Clerc, and in the end he commits the foul. Well, Elche, Terry, were never really expected to come here and win. They've never won at Camp Nou. They haven't picked up a point here since 1975. And of course that early red card made everything so much more difficult, and now this third goal so early in the half just compounding the misery for Francisco.
Yeah, I hate to say a game is wrapped up, but clearly it is for Barcelona, and the worry for Elche is that Barcelona look hungry for more. You mentioned that the attendance today, Carlos mentioned that the high attendance, the highest this season in La Liga, and that feel-good factor is it's almost demanding that Barcelona go on and entertain for the rest of the game and look to get another 2 or 3 goals. So it's a cruel afternoon for Elche.
Carlos.
A couple of substitutions. Yes, team, sorry. A couple of substitutions. We confirm Raúl, Guti and Fidel abandoning the pitch. His place, or their place, was going to be taken by Quina and Nico. Quina and Nico in, Guti and Fidel out for Elche.
Well, not the easiest situation for them to come on in. It is a second appearance for the club, having signed from San Lorenzo in Buenos Aires. Pedri aiming for Gavi.
They're just doubling up the defence on that side of the pitch, aren't they, with Nico Fernandez, who played left back last week. Carlos Clerc started the game in the left wing back position. Nico Fernandez will play on that side. Kina is just a straight swap for Raúl Guti, but there's not an awful lot that Elche can do. They're playing for pride, they're playing to try and limit the damage.
Barcelona looking to inflict more damage. Balde, who already has 2 assists today. His cross ran all the way through to Dembélé, and now Jules Koundé a little heavy with his pass. Well, Terry, you mentioned earlier that it has been a tough opening calendar for Elche. The games that they will play immediately after the international break are against Rayo away from home, and then Mallorca at home.
Certainly when Francisco would have seen the fixture list at the start of the season, and the first 3 away games were Betis, Villarreal and Barcelona, he wouldn't have, that would have been quite terrifying, to be perfectly honest. And the heavy defeat against Athletic Club at home, you know, it's led to a dismal start for Elche. Confidence is low. Somehow can they try and, you know, there is plenty of time left in this season. It's not unusual for a team that is going to be in the relegation battle from day 1 of the season to only pick up a point in 5 matches. It can happen, it will happen to other clubs, but it's trying to recover from that. But as you said, Tim, those next 2 games do represent a fairer chance of them actually winning games of football.
It was the Cadiz win last night that pushed Elche down to the foot of the table. Here goes Dembélé trying to slalom into the box, just ran into the heels of Clerc. And the win for Cadiz was a rather unlikely one. They'd had to absorb so much pressure away at Valladolid. They'd gone 3 games without mustering a shot on target, and then in added time found a winning goal that lifted them off the foot. Is why Elche are there in 20th place. And Barcelona, with a win today, move up to first position, temporarily at least. Tomorrow night it is the Madrid derby. Atleti against Real Madrid.
And Sergio Hernandez, Xavi's brother, a team, just called the 3 players that were warming up to step into the pitch.
Memphis was through there and just didn't quite get the angles right with the finish.
Just about.
Fati Sorry, Tim. Ansu Fati, Bellerín and Rafinha about to come into the pitch for Football Club Barcelona.
Well, a super chance that was, Terry, almost easier in some ways than the goal he scored.
Yeah, I think there was just about enough pressure applied by the defender, which kind of meant that Memphis was slightly unbalanced with the attempted header at goal. Piqué didn't look too hopeful of getting on this afternoon, did he? Look quite relaxed sitting on the bench. And you look at the quality of subs coming off the bench for Barcelona with this situation for Elche as well. You do fear for them.
Barcelona trying to build a more competitive squad after the disappointments of last season, and there is Gavi, so alert there to the deflection and brought the ball down well. However, the flag is raised.
He did appear to be in an offside position, but let's see on the replay. Yes, correct call. Despite the fact that deflection, the pass from Pedri was the moment in the game where he was offside.
So the changes will be imminent from Xavi as we approach the hour mark. Here is Kina battling in the midfield. So too is Frenkie de Jong, who won the challenge there. And Carlos, a chance now for Xavi to make these changes.
Yes, we see the board there, the first player coming in, and we hear the Camp Nou, the ovation for Ansu Fati, and also the ovation for Memphis Depay with a very good performance this afternoon. He comes in, Ansu Fati comes in for Memphis, and the other two players coming in for Barca, Bellerín and Rafinha. Eric Garcia and Dembele, I think the players are stepping out of the pitch. Yes, we confirm Eric Garcia and Dembele, and there we see Bellerín and Rafinha, the Brazilian, coming into the pitch.
So a special moment for Hector Bellerín, his home debut. And presumably this means Jules Koundé sliding into central defence. And on comes the Brazilian international Rafinha. Plenty of quality coming off the bench. Ansu coming on for appearance that is 3 years to the day since his Champions League debut, which he made as a 16-year-old away at Borussia Dortmund.
We immediately saw that position swap. Koundé in the left centre-back position and Araujo in the right centre-back position, leaving the right full-back to Hector Bellerín. Tim.
First involvement for Ansu Fati. The ball worked wide to Balde. Now de Jong taking over, and he is loose there, imprecise with the pass. Gave it straight to Boyer, who needs support and has very little at present. Lucas Boyer is having to do it all himself, surrounded by 3 Blaugrana shirts, and he just ran out of options in the end.
Yeah, untidy from de Jong. It's something he has to eradicate out of his game. He is guilty. He finds the game of football very easy, and at times does get complacent with his passing. Noticeable that players rested, taken off, but not Lewandowski. He's still out there.
So 4 changes made now by Xavi as de Jong sends one forward and Bellerín scampering, can't quite reach it.
So even that there, I talked about de Jong giving the ball away a few seconds ago. That's for his quality, the player of his quality, that's a straightforward pass. That's about the 3rd or 4th attempt today that he's had to play the ball in behind to a full-back or a wide player running into space, and he's made too many mistakes in that department of his game today. Koundé there with an excellent ball, bit of disguise on the pass to Dembele. Elche tried to get bodies in front of the cross, get bodies in front of the shot of Lewandowski, to no avail. Tidy finish, just passed into the open space of the goal by Robert Lewandowski.
front of Balde. Back again. Lifted pass by Pedri. Here is Rafinha, first real involvement for him. Delicate up the line for Gavi, set back towards Lewandowski, who forces Badia into a good block. Danger still there, but a good challenge by Nico, who has run into traffic, dispossessed by Rafinha, who takes it beyond him. Back to Gavi, super touch over the robust incoming challenge, and after all that, it is a goal kick.
Excellent goalkeeping from Edgar Badia. There was no doubt, we thought that at the very least Lewandowski, even from here, he's clearly going to hit the target, isn't he? He's probably trying to be a little bit more precise. He's probably trying to aim that nearer towards the goalpost. It was quite central. Edgar Badia, despite conceding numerous goals this season, his performances have actually been quite good, and again that was an excellent save by the Elche goalkeeper.
Well, by the very nature of Elche's performances, he does tend to be busy. Badia always involved, and he will presumably be hoping for a little more protection. Elche are now the highest conceders in the division. It wasn't that way at kick-off, but with the goals they have shipped here today, they have a worse defensive record than Cádiz. Jules Koundé operating at centre-back now. He has been quite clear that that is his preferred position. Says he's happy to play wherever the manager needs him, wherever the team needs him, but did state that that is where he's played most, where he feels most comfortable. And clearly Xavi rates his build-up play, his construction work from that central defensive area. We saw midweek at Bayern sometimes Araujo and Koundé swapping just to help the construction from Koundé. Here is Rafinha. It bounces back to Bellerin. Deep cross, which was attacked by Balde. Won by Palacios and brought down by Tete Morente. Lucas Boye once again isolated. It is a tough afternoon for Elche's number 9. Barcelona go again. Ansu Fati. Gavi, a hive of activity. Receives it from Balde, plays it back to Pedri in space. Pedri was afforded some room there and almost invited to shoot. In the end, he didn't quite catch it as he wanted.
Yeah, I think he was caught in two minds, whether to wrap his foot around the ball and go for the curler with his right foot, or use the technique we saw him eventually use with the laces, hit it with the instep, and it just went wildly off target. I think Koundé's main attribute that Xavi was probably interested in was his pace, wasn't it? You get him and Araujo playing at centre-back, then there's been a massive upgrade in terms of speed and pace from what Barcelona have had in recent years in the centre-back department, and it's much needed when you play as high as Barcelona do, with the full-backs playing really high up the pitch.
Well, here is a full-back high up the pitch for Barcelona. It was Bellerin to Rafinha. Back again now. Bellerin's cross to Ansu Fati, acrobatic and very well closed down. Won back immediately by Gavi. Gumbao's block, and Nico hooks away. 25 minutes to play at the Spotify Camp Nou, and Carlos, a couple of changes being prepared by the visitors.
Another double substitution. Hosan and Ezequiel Ponce preparing to step into the pitch. They're about to come in.
Pedri to the feet of Rafinha. 1-2 with Bellerin. Again, Gavi is that hive of activity, that motion. Some space now for Koundé. Lewandowski did well to protect the ball from Gina. Rafinha up against Nico. A drop of the shoulder, and beyond him he goes. Set back to Gavi, one heavy touch and Bigas can clear. But Barcelona waste no time in winning possession back. De Jong's spin. Now Bellerin. Rafinha's gone for goal. And that was really flying, just rising over the bar.
Yeah, it's from distance, it's from an angle, but he is more than capable of spectacular goals from that range. Generates enormous power with the attempts at goal that he has.
And we confirm the substitutions. Tete Morente and Fidel stepping out. Hosan and Ezequiel Ponce, sorry, and Lucas Boyer stepping out, and Ezequiel Ponce and Hosan are stepping in. The third and fourth substitution made by Elche. Only one substitution left in the Conjunto Licitano.
Elche have scored only 2 goals all season. One of them was scored by Ponce, and the other by Collado, who was perhaps looking forward to coming to play against Barcelona today, but is still among the substitutes. We just saw that graphic. 17 shots from the home team and none so far from the visitors.
Just when you mentioned Collado, Tim, he's now preparing and warming up at the sideline.
So Barcelona in complete control. Elche reduced to 10 after just 14 minutes. Gonzalo Verdu with a straight red card, pulling down Lewandowski and denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Lewandowski with 2 goals, Memphis with 1. Barcelona heading towards 3 points that will lift them tonight at least to the top of the table. Lewandowski trying to work the 1-2 with Ansu Fati. Here is Domingos Quina back to the goalkeeper. Lewandowski closing down Badia. And one back by Bellerin.
It's been relentless, hasn't it, from Barcelona, and the closing down, their attempts to try and score more goals in this game.
Well, no sign that Barcelona are stepping off the gas. They are looking for a fourth. Rafinha trying to slice his way through that defence, exchanging passes with Lewandowski and then trying to find Gavi. And look at the hunger there in the press from Rafinha and Ansu. Barcelona approaching 500 completed passes. Elche on scarcely more than a ton. And Carlos, the man of the moment, Lewandowski just down for a moment there.
Is down when Xavi just called Ferran Torres, the former Valencia and Manchester City, is running to the bench to receive the last indications to be the fifth and last substitution of Football Club Barcelona.
And it is a yellow card for Nico for that foul on Lewandowski. So Barcelona's free kick, 20 minutes remaining. Ansu Fati, who is not in the latest Spain squad, has been in the recent ones, but not starting regularly for his club. Not that that's prevented Luis Enrique from selecting others in the same position. Here is Lewandowski, wonderful feet! Wow, he seemed to have done the hardest part in such a tight space, and this time, very rarely for him, couldn't find the finish.
He's always playing on the shoulder of the last defender, isn't he? You can see he holds his line. That's how to beat the offside trap when you're a striker. Under severe pressure, good understanding between him and Gavi. Gets it out of his feet. You see it's John Donald who just gets across in the nick of time to apply a last bit of pressure.
And Carlos, a feel-good factor around the stadium.
And at this moment, I can tell you it's been when the fans has been more excited. The second half in general been a party in Camp Nou, the crowd singing, the crowd supporting, the crowd with a lot of joy in this good football match for Football Club Barcelona, when Ferran Torres is about to step in, and he's going to step in for who else if not Robert Lewandowski. Let's listen to that ovation.
Lewandowski continues to look very much at home at the Spotify Camp Nou. In all competitions, he is up to 11 goals with Barca. A brace today, so nearly a hat-trick. And he is off now for a very well-earned rest. Ferran Torres on, can he make the most of these minutes? Ferran hasn't scored in La Liga since the Clásico in March, was on target in the Champions League. Match day 1. Pedri, wonderful pass for Ansu Fati. Fati cuts back, and in the end, Domingos Quina able to retrieve possession for Elche. He's now running out of options, but so much confidence he has, and draws the foul from Ferran. And a yellow card for Ferran Torres, one of his first involvements.
Yeah, shown a fantastic attitude, hasn't he, Domingos Quina? Obviously wants to play more. Knows that there's troubled times for Elche, but he's really been tenacious, and he's plugging the gaps. Fati tries to cut back there, just can't change himself and his balance, shift his body back in the direction there quick enough that he wanted to.
Pedri. Gumbau to Palacios. And here is Quina again, swift turn. Manages to wriggle away from Gavi. Play the ball up to Ponce, but look who won it back, Gavi.
Question marks were raised, weren't they, astonishingly, about the cost of Lewandowski because of his age, but he looks in incredible shape. I mean, he's 34, but he certainly doesn't look it.
Rafinha finding Balde, cushioned back for Pedri. Movement from Gavi. Pedri takes his time. Now Jules Koundé, very advanced, both central defenders. Elche penned in, as they have been for so much of the game. Swift circulation of the ball, and room for Pedri, who lifts it. And this is Ansu, who never quite caught the finish. It almost turned into an assist. And a good opportunity is spurned.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt whatsoever there that Ansu Fati is going for the finish as opposed to cutting the ball back across goal. Pedri with great imagination and invention there and skill to put Ansu Fati in. Once Ansu is in, he does have a glance across, but I genuinely believe he's going for power there to try and beat the goalkeeper himself.
Rafinha. And Quina is down as well as Bigas.
Clip on the ankle there of Domingos Quina. I think he'll be okay. I'm not so sure Pedro Bijas is going to be though.
Well, we've seen.
And Diego Gonzalez is going to come in for Pedro Vigas. He directly goes to the ground. He's receiving the medical attention, and Elche will make their 5th and last substitution. Is the center back, former Malaga, Diego Gonzalez, the player that's going to come in, replacing the captain, Pedro Vigas.
A chance to see the build-up again for that Lewandowski strike at goal.